Some readers read one book at a time. Some days I really envy them because I've been reading three lately for different parts of the day, including my lunchtime read at the library. So I wish to highlight, among others, a favorite lunch story, Clive Cussler's The Sea Wolves. This is a very exciting story, and it is an Isaac Bell adventure centered around foreign spies, German U-boats, in the summer of 1914. I particularly like Isaac Bell. I find him an interesting hero character, and he's involved in several railroad mysteries about the railroads coming across America, which I thought were really interesting and quite well done historically. In The Sea Wolves, we have, of course, German U-boats, foreign spies, and some new technologies as of in 1914. There's lots of suspense, lots of action, and the good guys win, at least for the time being. I like World War I and World War II stories. And recently, we've gotten a number of new ones in, and a number of those highlight women as the main character and those who are going to save the day. I think this is wonderful that we're finally seeing what women did for the war efforts in that time period. And speaking of women, let's consider this particular book, A Traitor in Whitehall by Julia Kelly. She wrote The Last Garden in England, which I did not read. I found this interesting, not as riveting as Sea Wolves or as the third book I'm going to talk about, but I certainly enjoyed it. Evelyn Redfern is working as working in a munitions factory. Now, this is a very dangerous job, as you may know, during the war. And while there, one of her father's wealthy friends finds her. And Mr. Fletcher says, I think I have a much better job for you. How would you like to go and work in Winston Churchill's war room in Whitehall? And, oh, by the way, I want you to be an observer for me occasionally. You can report to me. Okay, Evelyn is happy to do that. In the meantime, she's a book reader of mysteries and has been since a child. Of course, she loves Agatha Christie and all the other great writers of the time period. So it's hard for her to turn down any kind of mystery situation. And lo and behold, one of the secretaries is murdered. Well, who did it? And how could Evelyn try to help doing this? So we've come into contact with a Mr. Poole, a David Poole. He's a minister's aide who is really trying to find out who is selling secrets to the Nazis. Well, before long, and I did think this was a little too quick, these two hook up and they are going to start interviewing people like real police people in an attempt to discover if the murder of the secretary is involved with the selling of the secrets. So, can they solve these two mysteries? Are they related? Will they become more than friends? I found it, as I said, the quickness of their becoming crime solvers in a particular high stakes situation a bit unusual, but the story held my interest. And I would certainly look for the next one in the Parisian Orphan series. And I say the Parisian Orphan series because Evelyn too has a story of interest about her background. So if this sounds like your cup of tea, please enjoy it. Finally, Kate Bella is writing the Gilded Gotham series set in the 1880s in New York. So far, there are 4 in the series, and I recently read and couldn't put down number 4, Opulence and Ashes. I also read Deception by Gaslight, the very first, and a very good one too. That was some time ago. Currently, the other 2 have arrived to the library, so we now have all 4 of them. These are well researched historically, as was Kelly's, and opens up the reader to life in either the 1880s in New York, where you either have a lot of money or you probably don't have hardly any, or the Blitz of the 1940s and how Whitehall functioned, at least at the beginning of that time period. Geneva, a society journalist from a wealthy background, is trying to rise higher in a man's career. And Daniel, her fiancé, who through much luck and hard work rose to riches, are working with Dagmar Hansen, a photographer, to document the abuses of the House of Refuge, a children's workhouse. This is a place where children are housed at night, and if they're lucky, they get a fairly decent meal and probably are sent out to work for people during the day and frequently abused. The story shows us how terrible the mistreatment of the poor and women were in that time period. We also learn of the Comstock Law, which I think I remember vaguely from high school, and how little control women had of their bodies even then. It's very sad to see history repeating itself in this story. I really couldn't put this one down. The suspense made me want to read the end and then go back and finish reading the in-between. I'm smart enough to know we usually don't kill main characters in a series, but in today's age, who knows? As a final note, I am very uncomfortable with characters placed in insane asylums, especially women with no option to get out. So if that upsets you too, remember in this time period, it only required a passing of money and a signature, usually the husband's or the brother. All 3 of these books offer a great story, plenty of suspense and action, and different time periods to explore in your reading. I hope you decide to pick one, if not all 3. Enjoy.